Listen to him, motherfucker, man. I told you T1 was going to clap him.
Well, guys, we are back here once again with another episode of the Cloud9 podcast, season 9, episode 10, on our journey to hitting 200 episodes of this show. And what a better way to kick off our journey to 200 episodes than talking about the League of Legends World Championship 2023 semi-finals. Or should I say, God just blessing us with not abandoning us. They put God on T1, especially specifically within Faker, actually. So, oh Lord, yeah, we're gonna be talking about the League of Legends World Championship 2023 semifinals. We're gonna talk about some of the off-season news that has been going on, and talk about previewing the finals as well, because it all comes down to next week. Someone is going to be lifting the Summoners Cup. Will Faker finally be lifting his 4th trophy, or will the Shy and Chris be lifting their 2nd? That's actually pretty impressive. Or you're also going to factor this into Xiaohu lifting his 1st World's trophy ever. He's lifted MSI trophies before, but it's time to actually potentially win the Summoners Cup. But before we get into talking about League of Legends, if you guys are watching and listening to this episode on like Spotify or any of the podcasting platforms, the Iron Man podcast episodes will be coming out. So basically, kind of treat it like TV. You're on TV for like the fall season between like August to like December, before everyone goes on like holiday break. Now you get like an abundance of episodes for a little bit. Then you take a break. So the Iron Podcast is not on hiatus or anything. We're actually still actively recording episodes right now. The thing here is I'm going to be getting all those episodes, putting them up into my backup YouTube account, and then just basically uploading them in series of like 5 episodes, potentially a day. But for the most part, I'm going to just download them and upload them and get them out to you guys ASAP. But yeah, man, what's going on, man? What's up, dude?
Crazy shit, man. Apparently, I don't know if there's shooting going on outside. I don't know what the fuck's going on outside. It's just crazy.
Why do you live in Connecticut in 2023?
Come on, broke. The fuck?
Well, this is what we got to do. We got since Lennon is a government worker, all we got to do is get her to get you a plane ticket, and then you fly out here, and then you can work security for her office building, actually.
Okay. I will have to get a whole new guard card because that's a different
Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's so weird how you can't like transfer them.
It used to be that until shit happened years ago. Now, each state has their own rules.
Yeah, because that building that she works at actually has security, and that's, well, to be fair, they only have the one security guard, but it's got black people around there, so shit's always popping off and dangerous around those people. All right. So, well, where do we even start? Because last night when we were watching the JDG T1 series, we watched the first game, and like me and James were going back and forth on the draft, and I was trying to tell him that draft is bad. That draft was booty. It's so draft? Awful. The game 1 draft, remember? One where they had a Kali, Vi,
that was a bad draft.
Was I sniffing drugs? Was I on crystal meth? I thought the draft was unplayable.
No, the Rumble pick was good.
Was the only good pick. Well, to be fair, you have to give them an OP pick if you're gonna take Rel and Orianna. Well, you know what? Everyone's gonna kind of want to go over the T1 JDG series first. So let's just talk about that one first. All right. So T1 versus JDG. Obviously, this is a rematch of the World's 2022 semifinals, where T1 also 3-1 them. At MSI this year, JDG took their revenge. You had them going all the way to 5 games. It's a very close series. And then, as fate would have it, they now faced each other again at World's 2023 semifinals. Is it just fate, man, or is Faker's like God powers just manipulating everyone to get him exactly where he needs to be? Maybe it's just Faker's world, and we're just living in it at this point. Have you ever considered that?
Yeah.
Have you also considered that maybe remember in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters when it was revealed that Bakura and Yami were just playing with like a bunch of chess pieces when you remember he like summoned Zorg and they were all fighting each other? I'm starting to think to myself, maybe it's just Faker and just league gods, and he's just manipulating all the pieces. Maybe it's not Riot writing the script. Maybe it's just Faker, actually.
Could be.
Like, I'm just saying, man. And hey, remember people told us they're like, Faker is done. He's trash. He can't do it. I was like, never ever give up on Faker. You just can't. He just has this like fucking Michael Jordan effect about him where he could always come back even when he's down and out. He just has that effect to him, man. That's crazy. So now you get a chance to potentially watch one of your teams lift the Summoners Cup. I had that that was what was the Samsung Galaxy one, 2017. So I had that 6 years ago. Man, I haven't had a team win Worlds in 6 years. God damn. But maybe Gen G will do that next year.
Okay. Yeah. Your dad's gonna come back to your life.
And Lennon's gonna start writing you reverse cowgirl. Am I right?
Hey man, that'll be the dream.
Well, okay, so I know people are gonna talk about the game one. The game one draft is just flat out unplayable. Okay, the game one draft is bad. Okay, so and let's just start it here. I don't know why people are sitting here drafting like these counters, but then they're coming to realize that this shit is not working out. You know what I mean? So in game one, this might have been one of the biggest draft gaps I have ever seen at the damn tournament. Like, the amount of shit that T1 just got in this draft for free was insane. So it's not really about what they banned out to get to the drafts. It's more about what the drafts are. So the only power pick that JDG actually got was just Rumble, because in that scenario, you have to just give them a power pick anyway, right? So T1's comp is Aatrox, Rel, Orianna, Jhin, and Bard. Keria, as you guys know, has been very, very well on like Bard. He's been just an insane player on Bard. I said throughout the rest of the series, you probably can't give that to him. Come to find out, they let him have it in game 4, the deciding game for them to stay alive at the tournament. You know, and this is something we talked about. You know, pocket picks for players like him is you cannot just give players their comfort picks like that. It always feels like when people do that, they end up losing the game. Maybe they always lose, and it's like, oh, we could just play around it. How about you don't play around it, and how about you just ban it so you don't have to deal with it? How about that as a concept? You know, crazy. So the reason why JDG's comp is bad, for one, it has no way of getting to any T1 member outside of just picking them off in side lanes. So remember when the Dragon fight where they actually had a pick onto one of them? Okay, so that's what their comp would ideally have to do in order to actually win the game and or come back into the game when they're behind, okay? So that's their only angle. Alistar gets countered by Bard. I mean, Xayah, Jhin, pretty favorable even matchup for them both. I think Jhin will just do much better as the game goes on when he builds Gale Force and he can have his fourth shot. But remember, if Orianna attempts to shockwave Xayah, what does she have to do? She has to ult immediately. She has to literally ult or she will be insta-dead, right? So just by far outright, Xayah is worthless in this comp, and so is Alistar. They just got draft gapped so hard in the bot lane, it doesn't even matter at that point. Then they gave T1 has Rel. So all Rel has to do is just be like, what's the thing where she throws herself in and the circle comes around? That's her W, right?
Yeah, I believe that's a W.
So when she jumps in like that, either Ruler immediately ults or he's going to get CC to death. Oh, and you just have Aatrox in the top lane who could also just dive the back line with World Ender and then just obviously use Chain. I mean, the Chain's not going to be anything, but let's say that Chain lands on Ruler. He has to immediately ult. So Xayah here is completely countered. There's no real way for Vi to get in. The only good champion they have is in this first game one is just Rumble. This is just a really, really bad draft, man. Just straight up outright. If you draft me that, I'm suing you for fucking domestic violence. So this is terrible. This is so freaking bad, man. Okay, what did you think about game one, actually?
It went the way I thought it was going to go, and I was happy. My biggest concern is how slow T1 got out late to the start. But other than that, T1 executed their comp, and JDG...
I mean, it's pretty easy to execute a comp where basically your enemy team is drafting no long form of engage outside of just a Vi ult.
Yep.
Like literally, even if, because this thing, we were talking to James last night, even if Vi ult, okay, Aatrox could just knock her up.
Yeah.
Rail could just stop her. The whole comp is just bad from start to finish. It's just a shit comp from start to finish. The only real way to set things up is just equalizer. That's it.
Exactly.
That's the only way to set things up. And we saw that if he got a favorable equalizer ult off, then it could kind of work. But remember, they were too far behind to make it work. That's the only way it can work, is if 369 gets a good equalizer off and they find a pick with a Kali. And what is this meta at the tournament where people are taking like a Kali into Orianna like Chovy did? Did like JDG not watch when Gen G tried that and it got completely just exposed for how much of a bad pick it actually is right now? And then we saw people taking Azir into Orianna. Well, now since Faker did really, really well on Azir into Orianna, maybe more people might value Azir more into Orianna. Or, newsflash people, you could just ban Orianna. I don't know why she's still getting through in this patch in this tournament.
The thing is, do not give Faker Azir. Like, just don't do that. Like,
yeah. On top of letting freaking Carrier get barred game 4, they also let him get Azir game 4. Like, what is going on, man? The bad drafting just doesn't stop. Like, I must be living in fucking Twilight Zone or some shit. Because this is
you definitely are.
This is an egregious levels of drafting, you know? So, also throughout the series, this is something that I mean, to be fair, I think people understand when there are players of this caliber, right? If Gumayusi is beating Ruler, who's heralded as one of the best ADCs in the world, Gumayusi is also heralded as one of the best ADCs in the world, I think that's fine. I think best players beating each other isn't as bad as people like to make it out to be. That's just too good. That's just, I don't know, that just comes with the territory if you face someone good, you know? This guy's just as good, you're just as good. You're not really worse than him. You're not really better than him. You're just even. Like, honestly, if you look at the tournament, Ruler and Gumayusi were the best ADCs at the tournament. So, I mean, to understand, Gumayusi has played really well at the tournament. He's played, like, I mean, to be fair, like one of the best ADCs at the tournament alongside Ruler and Elk. But obviously, Elk got knocked out by Light. Light's also had a good tournament himself. So, this tournament, the ADCs from the LPL and LCK have been playing good. One thing that I will highlight, because people always forget this about T1, their playstyle directly counters theirs. This also happened at MSI, remember? So I told people, their playstyle specifically counters all their top 4 teams. Now, we're going to see that against Weibo. Now, Weibo plays a little bit more, I would say, chaotic than JDG and LNG. Well, LNG didn't play at all. I'm still wondering where LNG's at. LNG really didn't play, but... people need to factor in the only team that had a distinct style that could probably fight them is BLG. Well, BLG's out. So the only team's play style that actually matches up to theirs is out, guys. LNG's play style doesn't match up to theirs. Neither does JDG. I said this even last week. I'm saying it this week. As you know, the results came through. They beat LNG, as we mentioned. I mean, the only team from the LPL with the play style that could fight them on an even level is out. So it's a very good chance that this is going to result in Faker's 4th World Championship. Potentially. You know, people said that last year, so obviously don't go around jinxing it. Just hope for the best, I would say. But Zeus, honestly, has been one of the best top laners this tournament. I mean, not Ben, what's his name? 369, once again, like, if Faker is Knight and Scout's dad, then Zeus must be 369's dad. What is with, like... And I understand he's 369 is a great player, probably just gap pretty much anybody. Yeah. When it comes to facing off against like Zeus, he just kind of always sucks for some reason. Zeus just kind of just gets in his head so hard. That's like what like T1's and SKT, they've always had that. But Zeus played well. Owner's been I would say getting better and better as the tournament has went on. I'd say the bot lane for T1 has been like just great in this tournament so far. Because remember with the LNG series, man, it's hard to really judge how strong they were. Because I mean, LNG didn't really do anything but just fail every game. But in this series, what people saw,
there's people still looking from.
Yeah, I don't know where Scout is. Maybe he's in the Korean alley getting.
Is Tarzan still lost in the jungle?
He would be lost in a Korean jungle with tigers. I don't want to live that. What was that movie about? It was James Franco and Seth Rogen when they went to Korea.
The
Yeah,
interview.
yeah. I remember how they went in the jungle and the tiger there. That's
Oh
where
my God.
is that where Tarzan's at? Because he didn't want to be there. He's gonna get eaten alive. But yeah, I mean, T1 beating JDG. I mean, just in the way they did it is crazy. Now, I want to put this in context too. JDG struggled against KT just last week. Don't forget, BDD played very well into Night. You know, Knight's not had that kind of tournament here. The only players that I think have had that kind of tournament is Ruler and Kanavi. And obviously 369 up till this point, right? Like JDG.
Kanavi's been high and cold. He's
been like kind of the reason why they've been in games, but also the reason why they've also, lost games too.
Yeah.
Because remember, if he didn't make that double kill against T1 in the bot lane when Gumayusi killed him or killed off they out 2v2'd Ruler and missing.
Yeah.
Oof, that would have been bad. So it's a hard thing to judge because I think the JDG that people were expecting coming in, that specific JDG did not show up. That dominant JDG, right? But JDG have played this way throughout the entire year. I mean, a lot of it's dominance, but a lot of it's very, very coin flippy, very chaotic. They thrive off, out team fighting with their type of players. But what's hopeful is that can't always happen against players that are just as good. Remember, you can only get away with that against just legitimately bad people. If there's a team with just as good as players as yours, that style just does not. That style, it's just going to get counteracted for the most part. I'm not saying you'll always lose. I'm not saying that. But it's going to be much more harder to execute on that with players of T1's caliber. And T1, have been just scaling up throughout the event. I told people, if you give Faker enough time to scale up at Worlds, he's just going to start wrecking people. And he's also himself been playing good. I feel like people were kind of hesitant on his gameplay, right? Because he had came back from his wrist injury. He was, only playing a few champions. But, you can win pretty easy when most people are giving you your free champions, right? They're literally just giving him his best champions, right? So JDG, they only win game 2, and they gave Faker a Azir in game 2. 369 had a good game then in game 2, but every game it just felt like it was all just T1. The last game where Ruler picked Zeri, and I think Zeri's been an underrated pick during this tournament as well. Also, they just gave T1 all the comfort in game 4. Game 4, they give them Yone, they give them Jarvan, they give them Azir, Varus, and Bar. They just gave T1 the dream comp in game 4. You know how hard draft gap they got in games 1 and 4, guys? We're talking draft gap from like my house to the damn moon. That gap. So it's crazy, man. I hate it. I hate it. So what do you do for JDG, man? JDG's year is over. They won both titles. They won an international event, but they just couldn't get to the finals. The Golden Road is extinguished. God himself, the unkillable Demon King, smites him down.
Once again. I'm not like someone who's a T1 fan, you're not surprised that this happened the way it did.
Josh Smith. This about Smash? No, but I like the competitive Smash scene. That's what you're asking. I like watching competitive Smash.
Yeah.
Sorry, Smash. I follow you because of Ripaverse. Oh, that's fine, man. That's fine, dude. Just tuning in. That's okay, man. Yeah, if people are here because they watch me do Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, it's fine. Everyone's welcome here. I cover all the niches. What's up, Vagabond? How you doing, bro? Kaiser, you think they're gonna lose this year? If they lose to Weibo this year,
Kaiser's been on that Weibo train.
Yeah. Okay. That's the thing though, is how the Weibo. Okay, so I'm gonna try to compare. It's hard to, but the DRX team that won last year, because they were the 14 as well from the LTK. How would you compare them to the Weibo team now? Would you, because that DRX team, it was believable that they could win because they had strong enough players in their positions, scaling up at the right time, where if they could play at their peaks, only for that one moment in that one series, could they win, right? Because the DRX players themselves, like obviously domestically, were not good, but at Worlds they played very well. So people have to kind of consider this: is there a chance if this Weibo team is stronger than that DRX team just by like floor alone, and what can happen actually? Oh my God, what is that? Hello?
You know I told you the shit that's going on. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Go out there and let's take him down. We're gonna be Men in Black, man. Let's get some guns.
We Men in Black in the ground.
What do you mean? I'll be a superhero. I'll just use my super speed.
Yeah, you better turn to Swiss cheese, motherfucker. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't even know where it's coming from.
Well, to be fair, it's not gonna be that bad because I put your thing on reduced mic background noise, but just saying, guys, he's a black man in the hood.
It's not the hood, because the police station is literally right down the street.
Where you made your mistake at. That's a mistake right there. Well, to be fair, it's not really bad.
No, this is downtown. This is downtown. This is not West Side.
So I'll ask you guys this. It really just depends on how you personally see it. Is this Weibo team stronger in this moment than that DRX team that was scaling up last year? That's kind of how you would want to look at it, right? It's really hard because if you're looking at JDG and just how their year went, it's just, that feels so bad to spend that much money on a roster, literally get to this far, winning everything. Remember, guys, this is the first best of 5 this roster had ever lost in playoffs at all. This was their only loss. They just had never lost best of 5s ever, actually, right? So, I don't know. Like, if I'm looking at JDG this tournament, like I mentioned before, I don't think that JDG showed up to Worlds, you know? I think Knight did not have the tournament that people thought he was going to have. I think 369 kind of maybe could have played a bit better in a lot of different games. I mean, the fact that they struggled against KT last week. I mean, guys, last week it was very close for KT to bring to 5 games. The only reason why I didn't go to 5 games is because I think most of the KT players brains just fell out and they all just gave up, honestly. But there was many moments where that could have went to game 5, and who knows? We could have potentially a telecom war in the semifinals. Oh my God, a telecom war in semifinals. Those girls would have tried to suck Faker off. Oh my God, Faker Daddy, can I choke on your cock?
Faker, yeah. Faker, man, they'll be girls trying to go after Carrier. I was like, yeah, no, protect Carrier. He's like, he's only 18. He's only 18.
Don't let them girls. Yeah, for Carrier, get a prenup for any girl that's trying to date you. Don't be dating them thoughts.
Nah, fuck all that, man. You gonna wrap yourself in saran wrap during sex. They go. Nah, fuck. But yeah, but with JDG, you said it. T1 just play like
they have a play style that's just counter.
Don't forget. T1 was a team fight away.
Also one bad pick away from beating them last time too.
In the outside, that's me. Yeah. Like, and that's the thing about it too. It wasn't like it was a whole like gap between them last time. T1 literally could have beat JDG. They could have beat JDG last time if their brains didn't fall off towards the end.
You know, this is my thing too. Is it's not that they really have an LPL playstyle. Is they have a very high, good skirmish play style that works very well into teams that can also skirmish as well. But they have this very like defensive, offensive play style that works out very well for what their players can do. They're super flexible in that specific style, not like champion wise, but like just how they play on the map. They effectively just get anything and just take it, actually. So, yeah, anything else you want to say about the JDG, BLG, JDG T1 series?
To me, the bad T1, the sad part about it is this might have been the finals. So I don't know. Weibo seems like the team that got on a hot streak, but
do you think it might? I'm thinking, okay, there's 2 scenarios that might happen for the finals when we get to it, because we're going to the next series right now. Yeah. But yeah, JDG's year is over. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to their roster. They spent about 16 million on their roster. So, you know, anything below world title is kind of a failure. But if you spend it only to win an international event, I mean, they did beat T1 in the MSI, and they did win that. So, I'm not saying you need to look at that. It's like that was your
But
end
the
year,
issue, but the issue that wasn't their end goal. The end goal to win the world.
Everything. Yeah. They want to win everything.
Not even everything. I mean everything, but your end game is to win the world at the end of it. What the fuck's the MSI when?
Yeah, because an MSI title is good for like a, I mean, it's a nice trophy to have for like LCK and LPL people, or even like if an LCS event.
It's a good morale boost knowing that you could go into an international tournament
and have some success.
Yeah.
Because the thing here, if you don't understand, when it comes to like LPL teams, when they're spending this much money on a roster, like JDG says, anything but a world's title or every title is just going to be considered a failure. Now, would I personally consider it a failure? No, because you did win a lot, but it's just a different mindset. And it's obviously I'm not paying these players, so I'm looking at it from a much different lens. But if you're spending $16 million on a roster, you understand it's either you win worlds or you're all getting cut. That's just how it works. Sorry guys, I don't make the rules. I just tell them to you, honestly. So people ask, well, who would you change out? These people are rich. They'll find people. Who's gonna not want to play on JDG? Let's be honest here. That's just basically I have a great org. You're a player. You want to play here. Like it's either play on JDG potentially or play on Rare Atom.
Either play against or playing a team that's going to beat your team. That's how it's usually going to be.
And we have the other 5-game series. Apparently, BLG just likes playing 5-game series. Actually, BLG went to 5 games against Gen G. Went to 5 games against Weibo, and we have to talk about that game 1. That game 1 must have been one of the most criminal things I think I've ever seen someone do and not get punished for it, only to just scale up and win the game. So we were watching it live.
Yeah.
Weibo quite literally go into their jungle for deep warding. Level 1, they don't die. The Shy gets almost solo killed by Bin, loses his summoners, level 1. Then Zun decides, I'm just not going to gank that guy. Do you know how much you just won the game if the Rumble lost his Ignite and Flash? All Zun has to do is go up there. You don't have to kill him with your ganks. Just pressure him. Halfway kill him, halfway not kill him sometimes. Place wards around his quadrant of the top lane. And so we just fuck with him the whole game. He can't see it. I don't even know how he was able to be even in CS. Then later on at 12 minutes, he was actually above CS compared to Ben. Like, how does it? I just don't get it. Like, they screwed themselves game 1. How does that? Yeah. I just don't get it, man. That's ridiculous. How that scenario is possible, and a team just like I don't get it. Like BLG had a great opportunity to win the game from game 1, a game 1 point of view. They have a Vi, they have an Aatrox, they have a Syndra. You could literally end the Rumble's career by what he just did right there. You criminally just inted it. Like, and that's just what the Shy can do. He could just basically borderline throw a game and basically borderline win a game by himself. Crazy. Because then, what was with BLG? Because this is weird to talk about. Because the next game, BLG, they actually do very, very well against Weibo. In game 2, they kind of overextended and got themselves killed, like James mentioned last night. But I'll be honest with you, they were never in any danger of losing that game. It just didn't matter. They were, first of all, Weibo were too far behind to capitalize on anything, even if they got a 5-0 ace. It's only because BLG overextended. It was because they were winning the game at all. Because right when BLG got into a good position to team fight them, the game was over. So, plus Weibo was like 8,000 gold down. They were never getting back to that game.
Yeah.
This is the game that I was really mad at. BLG went into a game, a competitive game in World Semifinals for this year in 2023, and they fucking picked Caitlyn support. Yeah, Caitlyn support. Were they PayPal to throw this game? This is a free game. They just willingly threw away. I guess people were like, but it's a counter into the Ashe support. Actually, just pick any other thing but Caitlyn then. Like, just pick anything else.
I mean, game support wasn't. I think it was the execution of the Caitlyn support that makes it look worse now. Because
remember how we were talking about last year, Caitlyn. quite literally isn't as strong mid game, so it's all based around early game focus. So if they didn't just like blow out the bot lane with it in lane, you're practically just playing 4v5 at that point until you'd have to literally get to like 35 minutes in the game where she could be relevant again. You know, like her power spike literally is completely gone if she's not an ADC and she's in a support position where she has to build. What's that item where it's the purplish pink item that he bought? Forgot, like Umbral Glaive or something. Yeah. So this was like BLG bases gave over a free game. I mean, Caitlyn support. What? And then the Shy's just like, Wang Dong need to hold my beer. I picked Quinn top. What the fuck is going on? So BLG are like, Caitlyn support. Free game for you guys. Weibo's like, we can do one better. Quinn top. What the fuck? What are we doing here? So then, obviously, it goes to game 4 because, well, the Shy, if he's playing Quinn is a champion that naturally is going to overextend. You know what happens, guys? He overextends so much, he goes 0-7. Yeah, that's the Shy I know and love. Going 0-7 on ADCs. I love it. And then in game 5, Light and Crisp just out 2v2'd BLG's bot lane, Elkin on. Even when they had, so I guess people are leaning towards Renata as being that counter pick to Lux. And the way Light has been popping off in these team fights has been just great, honestly. I think Zun had a bad final game for BLG. And it's really crazy because BLG, it sucks when they lose because you know this is a strong team. Like, because sometimes I don't think, sometimes when some teams lose, I don't think they played bad in the game, obviously, but I don't think that makes them a bad team, right? I think sometimes, you know, obviously for League, there's so many different variables when it comes to winning. It's just, they just played individually bad in this final game. The Jace pick in game 5 for Yagao. I don't know about that one, buddies. Yeah, I think Ben was the only player that actually played well in game 5 for BLG. And Elk played well when it got to the team fighting stage because they got the bot lane gap when they gave Kalista. You give Kalista that amount of lead around that time window where they were about to actually team fight them. It's really not much. Not only can she just spear from a long range, people factor in she's basically just a Suedo jungler to the point where like she could just rend the dragon. Yeah, because she could just use her rend and she could just take out an objective right there. So if you have enough spears in the back of Baron or Drag, you can just take it yourself. So if someone tries smite stealing it away, you can just use your rend and take it away. But yeah, Weibo are in the finals. What? Oh my god.
You and I talked about that. This could happen.
Yeah. We talked about it last week with BLG versus Gen G. If BLG take their foot off the gas pedal, remember they're a very fast-paced team, but if they take their foot off the gas pedal, or if they have a game where they felt like they really messed up in draft, their confidence is not I wouldn't say shot, but it's like they know they gave up a free game. You know, from that Caitlyn support, they know they gave a free game away. But then they got it back because Weibo were like, we'll just give you a game too. We'll just handshake. Would you like a game, sir? Would you like a game, sir? And then game 5, they're picking Jace into Azir and Kalista and Renata. Like, he quite literally didn't do anything on the Jace pick. And Zun, I mean, he can't see. His eyes are like this. Fucking can't see where he's fucking throwing his Sejuani ult half the time. Like, it's just a really... Like, I like the bot lane pick. I like the Caitlyn Lux, but the Caitlyn Lux can't do anything. Because, well, the bot lane, like if Caitlyn Lux lose lane, that all you got is early game right there. I mean, that's it, right? And you have Kalista and Renata that could definitely have better impact in the team fights. Also, it looked like as the series went on looked like he was trying to make better plays, but early in the game he was getting caught out constantly, and that really put Weibo ahead, honestly. So, how much did Kadro have a heart attack when Weibo won? Actually,
he had a heart attack, but he was happy. You know who was like kind of like super pissed? IW because both the teams he was rooting against got to the finals. IW was rooting against Weibo. They win. He was like, I hope T1 loses. Nope, they win. And he's like, what? And you can tell, oh my God, Dom was, he was about to jump off a bridge, son. That motherfucker, he was done. He was like, what the fuck?
This is a crazy world, man. And I was thinking, just based off how the meta has shifted at the tournament.
Yep.
This is T1's meta now. They love playing all these like random support picks. They love these kind of metas right here. And well, we know who you're gonna pick next week. All right, so guys, I failed my semifinals predictions. I got both people wrong. You know,
I got one right.
I forgot you actually did pick Weibo. Did you? No,
I was going
T1.
to. I picked T1 and BLG. I thought BLG was the better team. I thought they was going to adjust. They just never.
I think they are the better team, honestly.
I did pick T1 against JDG. I just went back and I watched all of MSI with T1 versus JDG. I'm like, no, T1 was the better team. They once they threw game 4, you could tell there was something wrong, and then it went down and they came back up because I don't think T1 could have won MSI if they don't throw against JDG, in my opinion, because it would have been T1 versus JDG again in the finals.
You think well, they lost to BLG, right?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like
that's the thing, is the only team that handily destroyed them is out. Like, who's their competition now?
Yeah.
They beat the 3rd seed. They beat the team that was supposed to actually win everything.
Yeah.
The only team with the playstyle that can match theirs is out.
Yeah.
I mean, Gen G's not here. This is kind of just T1's worlds to win at this point. I mean, like, I think Weibo are chaotic enough to bring it to 5 games, but, well, guys, let's do our predictions. Our Worlds 2023 finals preview. It all comes down to this. Can Faker finally get his 4th Worlds title? Finally. If I swear to God, if he doesn't win it this time, Faker, fire your whole roster. Just get them all out. Just write them all unemployment checks. To be fair, these players can literally just stream from being former T1 members of their fucking roster and just get a bunch of viewers, honestly. And remember, guys, if the Shy and Chris win, that's their 2nd Worlds title. Xiaohu's 1st as well. That's another interesting storyline. So what's crazy is the Shy left Rookie, and now he's back at Worlds Finals. So does that say something about Rookie? Or does that say something about who Rookie chooses to align himself with when he's coming to like roster configurations? All right, so I picked T1 last year, and guess what? I'm gonna do it again. I guess that's the storyline I'm rooting for. I would love if Xiaohu did win his 1st world title. That'd be honestly awesome. But I just think, I don't know. Okay. The Shy versus Zeus top lane. That's not a coin flip. I legitimately think Zeus is actually just going to win. But are there any games where the Shy can definitely beat him? Sure. It really just depends on jungle attention. I think T1 has been one of the best teams at the tournament based around jungle attention, right?
Yeah.
I really feel like a lot of teams have been misutilizing their junglers. Not enough focus on bot lane, not enough focus on mid lane, just all power ganking top. All these guys are flat out retarded and just power ganking top constantly. Owner has not. Owner has ganked bot. Owner's ganked for mid. Owner's actually ganked for top. It's weird how it's just the Faker teams that are just the well-rounded when it comes to macro. Crazy, right? So, Wei versus Owner. I mean, that's a weird one. That's probably just about even, if we're being honest here. But then again, I think Owner is better at making map decisions on the fly better than Wei. I would say that's his edge. You have Faker versus Xiaohu. Xiaohu's not had a strong tournament. Okay. Faker kind of has had a strong tournament. Faker should win this right now between them.
Yeah.
You also have the bot lane. That's going to be the tough one. Both bot lanes have been playing very well. it honestly just depends on picks. If Carrier can pull out some of those random picks that he likes, that's their edge. Do not give, I swear, do not give him Bard and do not give Gumayusi Carrier. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Do not give Gumayusi Varus and do not give Carrier Bard. Okay. There should be no world they should ever come up with those combination of champions in the draft. Okay. Ever. Anymore. No more. Just ban it out. Ban out 2 of them or ban out just 1 of them. Right. But just the way that T1 downloaded their playstyle throughout the whole turn, this JDGs is like, Weibo's is a little bit more chaotic. So it depends on like how can another chaotic team fight a more controlled skirmish heavy team. That's the hard one. What do you think, man?
Okay. My true belief is T1 has this if they stay focused on what their main objective is. Their main objective is to just completely win draft, of course, but I don't just catch it. I mean it's wholeheartedly catch Weibo off guard with your picks, like you throw out a Lars Lux combo, something that is so long range, and they will not expect it, because Weibo's good at adjusting if they choose to, because Weibo's one of those, they have to choose to adjust, because if they don't, they just don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Weibo are also they're kind of like weirdly the same team. Both teams want to try out different stuff. Both teams have a very decisive way of how they want to play the game at specific moments of windows that they know they can capitalize on. If Gumayusi and Carrier can defeat Light and Crisp, and it's very much of a dominant bot performance out of the team, that's a very big problem for Weibo. Pure fact, last year, the reason why they lost was not because of the bot lane. The bot lane was actually the reason why they were winning actually most of the games, actually. So I don't think the bot lane will lose most of the games coming up for next week's finals. The big issue is Xiaohu is going to have to massively step up in this best of 5, okay? He's outside of lane, he's had a good tournament outside of lane, but in lane, if he loses as hard as he's been to someone like Faker, Faker's just going to call Owner over. Owner knows exactly where to go on the map to pressure when someone is weak. We've seen that all tournament, right? So I think T1, I think Faker gets his 4th world title, honestly. And I think it's going to be, fuck it. Might as well end the series off of 5 games. I'll just say they win in 5.
I'm sorry, 4.
I would, because I have a feeling like they're gonna drop a few games to that team's weird ass play style. Because the play style,
the thing about their weird ass play style, T1 knows how to kind of counter it real quickly
because they kind of have that weird play style themselves. You see, that weird play style only works with teams that they don't really actually play well against into that, because that's just uncommon.
Yep.
They could fall back on giving Light Aphelios, and they're not gonna let him scale on Aphelios, I think T1 win it. I think I'll just go with 3-2.
I'm going
3-2 T1.
I'm going 3-1.
If it's a 3-1, we can go to bed early too. That's the
good thing. This morning, oh my God, me and James were watching. I was like, okay, 6:30. I was like, please don't go past 7 o'clock. I'm already dying over here.
This man's eyes is like sore as fuck, probably.
Fucking burning. Because I realized I didn't sleep that much Saturday morning because I stood up and watched all 5 games. And then went to Pokemon. I was like, that's why I took a nap. As soon as I got home around 8 o'clock, I watched some of your stream and I went straight to sleep. I was like, I gotta hit the bed. My body's done.
Wait, how long did you and James stay up for?
Until the end of the It was 6:30. That's me. 6:30 my time. That's me. It was until the fourth game ended, and then we watched
Right. Because
and then we talked for another 20 minutes after that.
oh, okay. Because he talked to you about his YouTube idea, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I told him that's a good idea. You just have to actually do it.
Execute it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's always someone that says he has these great ideas, and I always tell him, man. I always tell him, it doesn't matter how good you think your idea is in theory. You need to actually put it in practice. So you know what you need to actually do to fix on it. Because when something actually comes out of a product, then you can kind of go like, okay, this can work and this can work. But if you just have it in theory, well, we all have a bunch of theories. I have a theory that I'm white on, honestly.
Oh Jesus.
Oh shit. So, yeah, that's kind of how World 2023 is shooken up, guys. I mean, people wanted us to talk about like Chovy and Tarzan choking. Was it last week, actually?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So people kind of choke in different ways. I don't think there's this universal just one way of choking, obviously.
Yeah.
I think some players don't play as well in the very high pressure games, but they know that in the less high pressure games, they can just go all out. Right now, does this mean this player was not good before that big pressure game, or was the result always going to end up that they choke? It just really, it depends on the level of context going into this, and just depends on which series you're talking about as a whole. But this is what I think. Outside of that, if someone is consistently having this happen, then that person I would declare honestly a choker at that point. You would need to literally just win something to kind of overcome that. And even that doesn't really overcome the past narrative of choking. Compare understand. Let's say if Chovy eventually does win Worlds, or Tarzan does win Worlds, that doesn't change the fact that they were a choker previously. That just erase all the series that they played, or they completely just grief them, But Chovy's a weird one where just choking domestically, fine, stop choking domestically, only to continue choking internationally. I guess we're gonna have to go through a gradual process with this guy until it finally gets over it, honestly. But then again, who's gonna be the orc to do it? Will it be Genji? Or Genji gonna keep Chovy? There's a problem here. I'm trying to say, if you give Chovy away to someone, or this is how sports work, if you give your best player away to someone, and I guess popping off on someone else's team, yeah, you're kind of fucked, honestly.
But thing is, you have had that discussion before. Sometimes is the change of scenery is just best for that individual.
And people thought Genji was gonna be that team, actually.
Yeah.
Like people thought Genji was gonna be that orc to finally get it out of him. They got the domestic side out of him. They got the domestic titles for him. But, the international play from him is just, it's not that it's lacking. It's more like, why can't this guy just get it done when it matters? Yeah. We know he's talented enough. I mean, I think Showmaker always had it better than him at being smarter on the map. Like, Showmaker is just a smarter player. If you look at just how their play is, like from the past when they were both at their prime.
Yeah.
Showmaker, obviously, he was the player that ended up winning at a single point. He did win Worlds. Actually, very dominant Worlds, too. This wasn't like a fluke World where they kind of fluked their way to getting into it. No, this is a very dominant, they clearly were the best team. He clearly was one of the best players at the tournament, and obviously was one of the best millers in the world at various points in his career. And that's what's supposed to happen. I think for him to get over this hump, he needs to actually figure out. Well, I don't even know. Does he talk to someone about this? Because he just doesn't play well when it comes to matches to get you to the final destination, or playing good in the final destination.
No, it's what it is sometimes you just have to finally take the pressure off. You get
how do you do that? Because I know you tried that. How do you do that?
You just got treated like it's another game. You have to take the mental pressure off you.
Mm-hmm.
Because and that's the thing I learned was once I stopped like leaning on, okay, I'm doing this for everybody else, and I'm doing this for myself. Once you start realizing you're doing it for yourself, it's like the whole thing where it was like back in the day, and a lot of people used to do this when it came to like community goal. You're the first black person to make it out of here. You don't want that much pressure on you.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's like, oh, you're the first black person to go to college from the, you're the first black person who's not a athlete or a rapper to go to college because of this. You're like, you don't want that pressure because now it's like, what if you get into your career and your career is not what it seems? It's like, shit, yeah, and you kind of flop. Like, it's, and that's the biggest thing too. Like, you don't want to,
because it's very clearly an issue. I can see like if people said, okay, he didn't choke in his first finals because he was like very young and all sort of stuff, but this is a pattern of his. Like the only one that I could maybe kind of excuse is his very first split when his very first split at Worlds. Because they choked after that in 2018. So this is when they had the gauntlet system where they lost to KT, but since they finished second, they were the final boss in the gauntlet, right? So they lost to Genji, a team they clearly were better than, but they were so mentally fucked after losing the finals. I mean, they couldn't have played well, right? 2019, they choke, obviously, in spring against SKT. They, I guess, do kind of well at Rift Rivals, kind of, I guess, but that's kind of more of an everybody thing.
Yeah.
Summer, they lose to SKT again. One was a 3-0, one was a 3-1, but you can tell it's still pretty much SKT favored. At World, they lose to IG in the quarterfinals. I mean, after it was 2020. 2020 he was on DR. Was he on DRX? He was on DRX, right? Yeah, he was on DRX in 2020. Quarterfinals, flubbed out there. 2021 he was on Hummel. Okay, the Hummel F1 he was the only reason why they were good, so I can't levy that against him too much. But if he's the main carry person of that team, it's like, yeah, I guess you could say because he's the only player doing it. That's a weird one if you want to levy that against him. So you could, that's a weird one. But you have the Hummel Life roster one. 2022 was 2022. He was on Gen G, right? Oh yeah, he was on Gen G. Yeah, first finals with Gen G against T1. He flubs it. At Worlds 2022. He's struggling hard against Showmaker.
He did eventually get over it when he beat SKT for the summer titles, but
you can saw when he was facing off against Showmaker in that quarterfinals, it could have very much not went his way.
Yep, it was like he was like, if I lose here, he starts putting on extra pressure. It's like no, don't stop thinking about if I lose here. It's like if you lose here, you lose here. But if you win, you win. It's like...
Yeah, because we know he can have monster performances internationally. That damn one series we're talking about, we had that Yone game. That Yone game was just...
Yeah.
So he's not a bad player. Like, people equivalent choking someone being bad. I mean, to be fair, they can be interchangeable to some degree. But when you're... Okay, then after that, you had that series. He mega hard griefed it. That was terrible, honestly. And then, this year at MSI... I mean... There's a few games where, and I'm not talking about the ones against BLG were really bad.
Yeah,
like those ones against BLG were like criminal. The only reason why I think he played well against Faker at that tournament is because he's played against Faker like so many times at that point. He's just super comfortable at that point.
Yeah,
but against Yagao, I mean, because something happened this year. Yagao was just there's no way Yagao should be handling someone like him. I mean, Yagao's not a bad player at all, but it's like, come on, there's clearly a massive difference there. But Yagao's more level-headed. He's a much more smarter player, though. That's what screws him over all the time. When he faces up against someone that's smarter than him, and
smarter, but also it's not in like Toby gets in his own head, and then now he starts overthinking stuff. He starts doing stuff that doesn't make sense. That's why I'm.
Remember last year against that DRX series, he's farming on Rise when they're doing that dragon fight. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
That's the reason why you can say he choked out. Like, I'm not as quick to say someone chokes unless you start seeing uncharacter things that makes the team worse. Because a lot of times teams don't like. Some teams just like some players get worse because it's pressure, and then you're like, oh fuck, okay. You can tell this person's nervous as shit. It's like, all right, we're gonna have to calm down. All right, it's like, and then there's other times you're like, Okay, he's got it. He got it. Nope, he
Mm-hmm.
got it. You're like, oh shit. Okay, this is not gonna end well. And you're just hoping. You're just hoping to God that something goes your way.
It's just really weird, man. Because I think the reason why he continues to choke is because he just doesn't really have a good. He has a better understanding of what macro is now compared to what he used to be. But
Yeah,
there's a reason why he started winning when Peanut came to the team. I think, because as we know, Peanut does the shot calling for them, the macro decisions that they make in the
yeah,
early game. Also, being a jungler helps with that as well. You factor in the Peanut's not around this guy anymore. I mean, the stories around him were basically before he had Peanut as his jungler, they said this guy was just on mute. They would just kind of just follow him around on the really, really bad teams he had,
yeah,
when the only reason why they're even doing well is because of him. I think it's hard too, because if you take Peanut away from Chovy, I don't see him winning domestically again. Because I don't think he has such a good macro sense that he can pull it together, right? I think he has a good enough sense to play good up until a very certain point, but I don't. But I think that until he gets smarter at what he needs to do in the game and somehow take that pressure off, I don't know, man. It's just because we know he's a choke. It just keeps doing it. It's a literal pattern at this point. Tarzan's is he just he might want to write that guy off now.
I think Tarzan is a bigger choker than Chovy, because I think
to be fair, Chovy's actually won titles, so you have that.
Yeah, that's why you start looking at Chovy like, all right, it's just pressure. Sometimes it's just
he hits the pressure getting way too much. Because did you look? If people actually look at his Akali play against Yagao, this man was over here doing some of the worst Akali play I think I've seen. I'm like, okay, this guy's not that bad. Okay, like what are you doing, man? Like,
yep.
Tarzan, he's actually just a choker and he's just brain dead and he's on cough syrup. People see that Jarvan play he did.
No, exactly.
That Jarvan play was so criminal, man. If my jungler does that, I'm reporting you for domestic violence and you're going to get reported to Riot. Oh my God. Like, someone said, who thinks choked worse, Scout or Tarzan? Well, to be fair, since Tarzan will be the only factor in how much jungle has an impact on your team. If your jungler is doing criminal shit like that, you honestly can't do anything because he's just garbage. Honestly, like I know people are blaming. Scout choked too. Let's not. Scout choked badly himself. He's walking in a lane and literally just doing nothing. Like, what were they doing, dude? I have never seen a team as hyped as they are come into a series and just do nothing. They just walked on stage, drafted, loaded into Summoner's Rift, lost, got off, rinse and repeat.
Yep.
Like, can you really call that choking? Because they're not even trying to play the game at that point. You
can, because it's like I said. Sometimes most of it is mental. It's like, okay, son.
Yeah.
They must have got out gap somewhere where these guys have no faith in them. That's the way he said, what the fuck is going on? Like, the team looks absolutely bad. And you're just looking at them like, oh yeah, no, this not gonna end well for them. And you're just like, damn, that is sad, because you're like, shit, that is sad. Sad because you're like, damn, this team's so good, but what the hell happened? What mental
demoralized in scrims? Because the only other argument that could maybe be levied against LNG is they got so destroyed in scrims that they felt like they had no chance at all. Because remember, you would scrim the opposite side of the bracket, so that means they would have scrimmed BLG and Weibo. Yeah. I mean, if you're scrimming NRG and losing, throw that team away. If we find out that we're scrimming NRG and losing, you need to quite literally burn that shit to the ground.
But the thing with NRG, like NRG knows how to
They actually had a good scrim record, apparently. They actually had, yeah.
No, scrim. The issue is when you're winning against NRG, because then they're like, because NRG apparently was winning against G2 scrims. It was like, oh, okay. No, losing. It was like they were losing.
Yeah, the losing record. Yeah, they were 2-12 against them in scrims.
And then they gone beat the fuck out of them. It's like NRG the opposite. If they're beating you in scrims, they're getting smoked, and vice versa. Like it's like don't forget some of these teams did take experience seriously, and some of these teams
some Asian teams just use it to limit test. Honestly,
yep,
test out some
that's why
shit.
NRG was able to beat some of these teams. It was like like and that's why NRG better than G2. It's like nah, because G2 was able to smoke them, but it was like
yeah, I still don't believe NRG were better than G2. I think they just played better on that day specifically.
oh no, yeah, no, they like the issue with G2 is G2 just didn't adjust. It was like
G2 themselves got you knew hope was lost in them when they lost that Gen G series. Like that goes to show you how strong these Asian teams are too. You know, just from like the floor level, not the peak that they can play at.
I don't think hope was lost when they lost the Gen G series. I think there's doubt, but the hope was still there because they still had.
It's the doubt that the doubt you talk about. It's like they were trying everything early game against them, then it wasn't really working. Then it was kind of working, but they never really capitalized on anything. It's
they couldn't capitalize it correctly because Gen G knew how to counter it. It's like, oh shit, okay. It's once they lost to NRG, they had no faith left. That was the same.
Yeah, that's also and Weibo just got in their heads because they literally drafted the same thing against them.
Oh no,
top laner.
You mean BLG?
Oh no, I was talking about. Remember we were talking about NRG. Remember they did the
yeah
2 when they had the same comp.
Yep. Once
bad.
Oh my god, yeah, that was bad because once. Also, wait a second. Yeah, because they literally. I'll say because they did the same. They did the same thing twice.
Just with a different top laner. That was it.
I was like, oh my god, they are done. They are done. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, no, they are so done. They are just so mentally done. Yep.
And the crazy part, guys, is Worlds is almost over and the off season is heating up. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys for like another 5 minutes, and we got to head out here because we got to do another show in about like 30 minutes when I can eat something really quickly, and we're gonna start.
Yeah.
So yeah, man,
I'm gonna eat some tacos. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, some Mexican tacos.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, so what you got planned, man, for your channel coming up?
Just more pack openings. Not too much at the moment. I just been so lost from work doing 12-hour shifts, and then it's just Plus
That's
working,
crazy,
plus the working out. Plus, like if they do let this guy go, I'm not sure if they're gonna swap my schedule or they're gonna just have me do overtime. They're probably gonna swap my schedule if they decide to let this guy go, but they probably won't. They're gonna probably keep him at this location and let him go once the contract at this building's up.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. That plus I got a local report, or it's gonna be a League Challenger Cup report coming next week. I'm not sure what they're gonna go with. The leading is Charizard, but Chimpal's there. If I could build Roaring Moon in time, I might build it, but that's highly doubtful. But it's possible. It's highly doubtful, but it's possible. I could build Roaring Moon as long as the card gets there by at least Thursday or Friday. If it gets there Saturday, I'm kind of fucked because there's no point of me playing it because I would kind of.
Because you didn't go to locals today, right?
No, I didn't go to the locals today. I didn't go to.
You just chose to rest?
Yeah, I didn't go to the Pokemon or the Yu-Gi-Oh one. Because the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Pokemon one, I'll be coming home right now. In the local, in the Yu-Gi-Oh one, I'm gonna be honest. This format's kind of gone. Yeah.
You're done again? Taking another break?
I don't. This format's not it. I played in it. I played online. I played on the Dueling Book. This format's not it. It's just it's like fuck. It's like because all the it's not it's probably me just been out the game for a little too long, but at the same time I get back in, I pick up easily. I'm like, okay.
What about Pokemon?
I mean, I haven't left Pokemon.
Oh no, you said you had the League Challenge, right?
Yeah, I got a League Challenge Saturday and I got a League Cup Sunday coming up. That's me.
Okay.
Yeah. It depends on how I feel to take this. Because it's like now it's a new meta, but it has to say too, and I don't know why this fucking logo decided to have it the same weekend as the new set being legal. It's like fuck. Because if Pokemon and I kind of hope Pokemon changes in the future. I kind of hope that they make the pre-release like the 2 weeks before it actually starts, because pre-releases now are most of these stores are doing 2 weeks of pre-releases. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Why don't you just make it the pre-release the 2 weeks before the legal set being legal? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
right.
Instead of making a month, because think about it, I've had some of these cards for almost a month before I'm actually able to legally play with them. I'm like, a month? Yeah, I'm like, you tell me, because like I can't even play at locals because I have to re-swap the whole deck out. It's like I would have to play a whole nother deck because the deck I have is not. It's like I'm just sitting there like that's the only thing. That's my main thing with Pokemon. It's like I just wish they would use the 2 pre-release weeks as the weeks instead of making it when the set comes out, there's a quote legal 2 weeks or 2 weeks after that. I'm like, that's me. Everybody that goes to pre-release, they get the cards 2 weeks early. That's me. Instead of waiting 2 weeks, we have to wait a whole month. I'm like, yeah, shit, man. And I'm just sitting there like, fuck. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm testing my Charizard deck.
Yo, so what testing I doing, man?
I'm trying to make it consistent.
Oh hell yeah, man!
Wait a second,
Going Brazil?
Oh yeah,
what's up, man?
It is this weekend. I forgot. Yeah. Oh, dude, I got. That's me. I'm gonna have to watch LAIC while watching Worlds while getting enough rest for this weekend. Gonna suck.
Yeah, you know what's gonna happen this week coming up, man? Is on because Worlds is gonna be what on Saturday?
Sunday morning.
Worlds is gonna be Sunday morning? No way, really?
Yeah, it's Sunday morning.
Why are they doing it on Sunday morning? Oh god, at 12. Okay, so that week we're doing the main show. Remember, we have Saturday SmackDown, and that goes for like 2 hours 30 minutes usually. Then I got to do a one-on-one with another guy who's scheduled for that day. So that whole Saturday next week is I'm.
I mean, but that's not you for scheduling that Saturday, knowing that everything was coming on that Saturday. That was not you.
I actually forgot. I was.
See, that's the thing too. You got
at that moment. I actually forgot. At that moment, I was like, "Yeah." He said the 18th, and I was like, "Yeah." I mean, to be fair, we'll be able to get it in for like an hour and 10 minutes anyway. So I'll be done with everything at 9 o'clock. I'll be done. 9 PST is when I should be done. Okay. Actually. Oh God. Well, yeah. We're gonna save the off-season news for the Cloud9 podcast episodes after World is over. Because got to have some topics and content for the podcast when World is over. Because when World is over, there's nothing, literally just off-season stuff. And right after T1 and BL and Weibo play, whoever wins, give or take 2 or 3 days, you're about to hear some crazy off-season news, guys. If you factor in, all we've been hearing about the off-season right now is just the Western teams, right? We haven't heard what the Asian teams are doing right now, actually. That's going to be insane. We're going to find out who's going to go where, because a lot of contracts are expiring with a lot of really high-profile talent. Ruler, would he go back to the LCK? His contract's over at JDG. Only signed for 1 year. Kanavi's contract is over with JDG? Does he finally choose a new team after all these years? You know?
Nope. I don't think he is. I really don't think he's going to choose another team.
Some of these players are like really loyal to their orgs. It takes a while for some of these guys to really leave. It takes like literally heaven and earth for some of these guys to actually choose different freaking orgs. So, you know, Asian cultures, they feel kind of indebted to like their elders for giving them that opportunity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it would have to get like really, really bad for them to, you know, swap another player out. So, yeah, man. As you guys know, we're on our road to 200 episodes. You know, this is a little bit shorter of an episode than we normally do, but, you know, we only had 2 series to cover, you know, and I'm saving that offseason news, guys. When we get to it, it's going to be a lot of it. You know, we have it, you know, sectioned off between all the bangers can happen. But I will be putting out League of Legends 2023 offseason videos. I'm going to be working tirelessly on them coming up this week because after World's Finals for 2023, the Asian offseason is just as crazy as the Western one. So I'm going to try and get all my Western League of Legends videos out for this offseason. So I'm going to be just really busy. That's how it works, man. But yeah, anything else you want to say, man, before we head out, actually?
Glad T1's in the finals. Let's go T1.
Yeah, T1. Hopefully they can get it done in 3 games, you know, or obviously they would lose. I just want a 5-game series, 5-game banger series. This ended off this year on a high note.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, Missing was just absolutely destroyed after they lost. I can imagine their rosters. Oh, God, I do not want to have that feeling of losing a high-profile best of 5 like that. And in that fashion, too, because throughout the series, T1 just felt like they just had their number at everything, honestly.
They did.
Like, those are the worst series to have because you feel like you couldn't do anything against them, actually. You know? Yeah, man. Hopefully you do well at your tournament as well in Brazil. Stay safe because, you know, Brazilians are kind of crazy. So,
Brazil in general is crazy. Yeah.
Thank you to all the listeners on the podcasting platforms. You know, wherever you are listening to this show, don't forget, I do have the Iron Man podcast episodes coming out to you guys. I'm just working on just getting them downloaded from Rumble, added to my backup YouTube account so I can download them from that account so I can upload them to you guys. So if you guys see just random splurges of episodes of that show, keep in mind, it's not ever over or ending. It's a show that's always continuing. If you want to obviously catch up with the Iron Man podcast and the newest episodes we're going to be at, so update, we're going to be on 200 episodes come Tuesday for that show. And if you want to watch the show, you can check it out on Twitter at my Twitter handle at C9MSK8 or twitch.tv C9 Swag King, or you can watch it on Rumble at obviously Master Swag King. So we'll see you guys later. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend and a great Veterans weekend at that. It was a holiday this weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Ass served in the culture war.
Oh,
Give me my Purple Heart.
Oh, God.
Well, we'll see you guys later. Have a great day, everybody.